Hey guys, welcome to the Ignite Your Legacy podcast. I'm Tim Mikolajczak, and this is the first episode. Now, my heart behind this for the podcast is to basically come together and just kind of glean off of each other. Iron sharpens iron on what it means to be a dad and how to raise our sons better as a collective. I don't have it right all the time, but man, I just feel that these stories come together, can kind of help us shape what that means from a biblical standpoint and what that means from a man-to-man standpoint. So I wanted to start off this series with myself, a little bit of my own heart, and I wanted to just basically step back to the very beginning and talk about the power of an infant. Being a dad is fantastic. It's it's such an honor, it's a privilege, and it's a blessing. And I don't know about you guys, but if you had the opportunity to actually be in the delivery room and see your son or daughter be born and hold them in your arms for the first time on that first day, man, there's something beyond magical in that moment. It's just such a special moment, and that moment is what actually changed my life. When I first had my first kid, which was my son, who's now 10 years old, that's really where God started to move within my life. You see, I had that son in my hands, and as I'm looking into his eyes were like mirrors to my soul, to who I was. Dad, what do you have for me? What can you teach me? Is what I heard, what I felt. And at that point in my life, I was not following God at all. I was living for myself, and I was not really a good man. Wasn't a good husband. I wasn't ready to be a father. Had addictions and was not following God at all. So at that point, my wife and I made the decision to seek something. We needed something. We needed to give thanks. We needed to have something in our life. There were a lot of things that were filling these spiritual needs to keep me going as a man. Things I thought I needed to be a man. And we needed something else. So we actively started looking for that thing. We went to, I think 12 different churches in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. That's where I'm from. And nothing seemed to fit. And I'm talking by churches, I mean denominations. We went to different churches entirely. Lutheran church, we went to a non-denominational church, we went to a Buddhist temple, and that was something else. That was different, but just didn't feel what we were searching for on a spiritual level. Well, God had a plan. There was a job coming up in Oklahoma City for the company I was working for in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I got signed up to be the project manager on it. So we figured, why not? Let's move down to Oklahoma City. What's in Oklahoma City? Well, Jesus is in Oklahoma City. Boy, we fell into the right church at the right time. Within the first couple of weeks of being here, basically with a Google search, found the closest church, and it was the message, it was the worship, it was the fellowship, it was the people that just was a big hug from God saying, welcome home. Just the power of my son's eyes to convict me to see who I really am and that I need to make changes allowed God to push me down to a place where I could find freedom. In that, we got baptized as a family, and we got into a life group where I met some good guys and got into some men's ministry things, and I really, through the help of God, was able to change the trajectory of my family. I gave up every addiction, one after another, with prayer. With thoughtful prayer, I gave it up for him because I didn't need it. What I was doing with these addictions, I was an alcoholic. I was drowning something inside of me that I didn't need to do anymore. It was just a waste of time and energy. And I found out when I gave my life to Christ that he carried me throughout 35 years of my life. And at that point, I realized the rest is his, like hands down his. And that choice has been the best I've ever made in my life. My family has been so blessed ever since. Man, we were able to do so much more and love so much harder together. Since then, me and my wife had 2 other kids. We've got a 4-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy right now. So the house is it's loud from time to time. And I sometimes lose it, if I can be honest. Man, it's a story the other day, and the 2 kids are in the cart, and we're just trying to get through, and I'm trying to power through this shopping experience. And man, the kids are trying to get out of the cart and they're buckled in, but I know if they get out of the cart, they're never going to get back in without a screaming fit. Nobody wants their kids screaming inside the store. I just want to get done and get home, right? Well, that's where this patience comes in. I'm seeking patience, and I truly believe that patience comes from gratitude. If I can remain thankful in all things at all times, my patience level would be right up there with that thankfulness. And I can actually enjoy each moment and be present in each moment. But I'm often not. So that's just something that I'm trying to do in my own heart and in my own life to be a better dad. Because man, the kids are not always going to act the best. But I tell you what, going back to that delivery room 10 years ago, that was the point. That was the point that changed my life, my soul. And it was from my son. So just the importance of a son at that, man, infant level of what he can do in a man's life is phenomenal. Just the conviction that I got and the change that God was allowed to push through me to be a better man and a better dad. And man, I'm walking through that right now with my 10-year-old son, and just figuring this thing out together is phenomenal. And now that I'm surrounded by other men who are like-minded, it's great. We're able to just come together and sharpen each other and be better dads. And that's what this is all about. This is about being a better dad. It's about raising sons who want to make a difference, who have compassion and empathy for others. And man, going forward, the other podcasts are going to be buddies of mine. They're going to be spiritual leaders, business leaders, with some great stories of father-son connections, misconnections, and just how God worked in all of that. So please subscribe, stay tuned, and another podcast will follow in about a week. God bless you.